New blog post. Clean up, let go, renew, progress. I felt called to pull cards for this blog. Seems to be a theme recently. I used 2 decks for this reading, the Wild Unknowns Animal Spirit deck and Earth Warriors Oracle. The first card pulled was the Vulture. Guardian and Purifier, essential for rebalance. This card flew out of the deck. It was the same card that flew out of the deck a few weeks ago. When I think of the Vulture, one of the first images that comes to mind are movie scenes. People stuck out in the desert, maybe lost or traveling far, and they're hot and sweating, and there are vultures flying above them. I can distinctly see a person glaring up at the sky, trying to block their eyes from the sun, but seeing a vulture fly above, and a sense of worry comes over his face. I don't know what movie I'm thinking of, but that's what I see. When I read the description in the book, it says, the vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of them all. This intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. Interesting to read that as we head into lockdown of sorts, starting 10 p.m. on Sunday night here in Alameda County in California. I just finished watching an interview between Aubrey Marcus and Dr. Zach Bush, both who I adore. I had it in the background as I was working, but Dr. Bush led a meditation, so I felt called to pull my computer aside, lay down, close my eyes, and follow along. He talked about imagining a new earth, one where we use mycelium, which are mushrooms, to communicate rather than cell phone towers. And if you know the depths of information about mushrooms and trees and roots, they discuss through these root networks. That's how they communicate. He mentioned seeing someone running naked through a field, and instead of shaming and sexualizing their body, to recognize the connection to the person and the joy they must be experiencing, being free and connected in so many ways. Think of the sun nourishing all parts of the body, their feet directly touching the earth. I smiled and began to cry tears of joy because this is the earth that I have been envisioning, where people feel connected, healthy, free, rather than shameful, guilty, and fearful. An earth where we love and embrace one another rather than being scared to look at each other when we walk by, or even worse, when we can't even look at ourselves in the mirror. This pandemic, this virus is showing us a lot, a reminder that we need to be purified and brought back to balance. Remembering that we are simply stardust, matter, particles of energy, just as any other thing in the world. It's all the same. As I continue to read the description, it says the vulture is greatly undervalued, which makes me think of people we've deemed as essential workers. Grocery clerks, stockers, mail people, delivery drivers, teachers, caregivers, the food industry, the beverage industry, people that we tend to lash out at when they make a mistake or don't meet our expectations on something, or that we take for granted because they've always been there without us asking or acknowledging. Jay Shetty posted a video on social media a few months ago about a man who lashed out at a grocery worker who had been working overtime, only to find out that she was the person who also delivered the groceries to his mother, who was fighting cancer at home. I've been rereading the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and the second agreement is don't take anything personally. The way we treat people is a projection of our own internal world. If we're stressed, tired, lacking sleep, and someone on our path doesn't meet our expectation or gets in our way, we may find ourselves taking our stress, pain, fatigue out on the other person, when we're actually mad at ourselves. Why are you stressed? Have you addressed your stress? Why are you fatigued? Have you addressed your fatigue? Or are you ignoring what your body needs, what your inner child needs? And when you scream, is it really your internal world screaming out for you to take care of yourself? Where in life do you need to rebalance? When we think of our sacred contracts, remember that life is happening for us. Another card I pulled to go with the vulture was from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck. Lina, accent over the A. What must be, shall be. This card is a reminder to have faith. When something doesn't work out, there is something better for you elsewhere. Everything is working out for your divine purpose. When things feel hard or difficult or a struggle, then you're in a growth phase. Know that any darkness will give way to light. You can't know darkness without light, and you can't know light without experiencing darkness. You're meant to have greater courage and strength when you're wherever you're going next. And that takes growth and the willingness to choose growth. You are supported, even when it feels like you're not. If you remember that you are and trust the process, solutions may appear, perspectives may shift. When we live in fear, it breeds more fear. When we can surrender to trust, it allows for growth and courage and your ability to take on greater things, your ability to create greater things. If you've been with me on this journey so far, you know that I tend to lean on grandiose visions of life, as mentioned above. When we look at life in a very different way than most of humanity, it can take time and can feel very lonely when you're being told that the way you see life is crazy or radical. But there are at least 75 of us who are on this journey together. So we're not alone, and the energy is even stronger together. The card on the bottom of this deck is the hawk. The bottom deck is usually representative of our subconscious things in our mind that we can't see, usually developed in childhood or influenced when we sleep or when we're in a meditative state. Even like when you're watching TV without thinking about what you're watching, or you're zoned in or zoned out. Interesting that both cards pulled for this blog are air signs, and we are about to enter the age of Aquarius, which is also an air sign. The hawk card is watchful, all-seeing, messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail, as well as the big picture. When we move through life, we are thinking about the big picture. This goes back to the previous paragraph. Don't take anything personally. When someone screams at you, don't take it personally. Maybe there's something going on within themselves that they're not addressing. This acknowledges the big picture and takes into account the finer details of life. That each moment is connected to bigger moments, to other aspects of life. We may think that we can compartmentalize, but those things that we push away or say we'll deal with later become like an open wound on your skin that begins to fester when you don't take care of it right away. Again, going back to the previous card, something needs to be brought back into balance. The hawk is there to remind you to listen to your intuition. When you hear a little voice in your heart or your gut, and it tells you, don't do that. Don't question it. Don't do it. If something inside of you says, go left, go left. As we begin to rebalance ourselves and purify our lives, our intuition gets stronger and our perspective begins to shift. Life changes for the better. The description says, the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly. Though it may seem small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course, bringing back into balance. How can you build your relationship with your intuition? Meditation. Whether that's seated or moving meditation. When you're in those meditative moments and your heart hears a whisper or a twinge with a message, or maybe you even see a message in front of you, listen to it. You'll begin to strengthen this ability, and choice decisions get to be a little bit easier. You can also use a pendulum or different intuitive methods to solidify your intuitive answers when you're just starting to strengthen this intuitive muscle. As a reminder, we are currently in between two eclipses. We had one on November 30th and another one on December 14th. During this time, you might feel super off or mistake your dreams for reality. You might feel fatigued or distracted. It's the energy of this portal. Be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of your body. Like the vulture and hawk energy said, rebalance, listen, be compassionate with yourself, be kind. If you're looking for a healing process to help you rebalance and come back to the power of your intuition, the bottom deck of the Earth Warriors Oracle deck was Uluka Vahini. She who rides the owl brings justice. The healing process is as follows. Repeat this prayer aloud 3 times. Through unconditional divine love and my own free will, I surrender that which is not true, which is not rightfully mine. Bow your head and open your hands, palms facing up. Allow this to feel like a position of surrender and vulnerability. You may like to imagine or pretend that you are releasing old energy out of your hands and it is gently dripping into the earth where it can naturally transform by Earth Mother's alchemical power. Take a few moments here. Don't be afraid to let go. Remember that you could be unintentionally holding on to things that you don't even want. Or you could be holding on to things that you think you want and need, but are actually getting in the way of you receiving what will be amazing, helpful, wonderful, and perfect for you in all ways. When you are ready, raise your head and hands back to a comfortable position. Say aloud, love can conquer anything, even karma. Through divine grace and mercy, I call upon unconditional love to cleanse, purify, and assist me now in all ways. May divine love flow through me to manifest the will of Great Spirit in the world. May all beings who have become lost in darkness be mercifully guided back into the light of divine love through the grace of Great Spirit. So be it. Place your hands in front of your heart with palms facing up as if to receive. Keep your hands softly there and close your eyes as you chant or say aloud, the divine blesses me. I am filled and blessed. Repeat this statement as many times as feels good for you. Relax for a few moments, feeling gratitude and fullness of your heart. You have completed the healing process. And that process was from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck. Thanks for joining me on this journey. We're never alone.